Hey everyone, Andres from the Newsreel, back at you with another video. If you saw one of my most recent videos, I recently had a hands-on with the Samsung Gear S3 Frontier. This one's the classic. So, I never seen one of these in person, and most of the review videos that I've seen have only covered the Frontier, mainly because that one was available with 4G LTE. So I'm really curious. There's like a couple of seals here. I'll have to pry them open. Okay, I took one side off right already. These are really thick tapes. Just damaged the box with it, but oh well. This is what matters. Whoa. Oh. Looks like it comes on the charging cradle. This is the charging cradle. It's in the box. Let me put this guy to the side for a moment. Okay, the usual, I suppose. Looks like you bring an extra band to shorten it. This is a leather band, small, clearly labeled. So we got the USB cable, and that's strange. What's this? Oh, this is a power adapter. I can feel it. Yep, power adapter. Okay. The manuals are buried all the way at the bottom. Nice packaging. Okay. This all to the side, because this is what I care about. Wow, look at that. It's basically as thick as my Huawei Watch, but it's definitely looking smaller. It feels smaller than the Frontier version. That one was considerably bigger. These leather bands don't feel as premium as the Huawei one, and Samsung's asking for just about as much as the Huawei Watch when it first launched. Yeah, well, heart rate sensor in the back, wireless charging, that's why they got a cradle. Well, I'm gonna charge this guy up, and I'm gonna set it up, so then I'll also pair it up to my Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge and see how it plays out. Okay, and then I'll follow up here. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Friday the sun will be in and out.
I've been using the Gear S3 as my daily wearable for a few days now, and it was pretty simple for me to pick up and use. The Tizen OS running on the watch is very much the same as the version on Gear S2 models, so pairing it to my BlackBerry Priv and setting the watch up was quick and painless. But you're still not able to pair the watch to more than one phone at a time though, so that sucks. But in order for me to get this watch, I had to make a couple of sacrifices, because unlike other reviewers, I don't get review units. I have to pay out of my pocket. So I sold my Android powered Huawei Watch and my Tizen powered Gear S2 Sport Watch to buy the Gear S3. I really wanted to love this watch, especially from what I gave up, because now I'm limited to just one watch. So far, the Gear S3 Classic has more features and functions than the Huawei Watch does, but it definitely lacks in the app department. Now, the apps I'm not too concerned with because I'm used to it, because I primarily use my Pebble Steel and the Gear S2 Sport. But still, for $350, you'd expect the ownership experience to be vastly improved compared to, say, last year. Let's move on to the design. The design of the watch is solid, if a bit lackluster. See, the watch is about 0.5 millimeter thicker than the Huawei Watch and looks very much so, with the two-tone look of the stainless body and black bottom. Still, this is a better design than the tiny Gear S2 Classic that I tried out before. This bezel is much easier to maneuver thanks to the more pronounced ridges all around the bezel. The leather band itself is disappointing though. For the price you pay, you'd expect a better feeling leather band. This band feels cheap and stiff. I've had a hard time trying to break it in. I didn't have this issue with the Huawei Watch, which I also got with the leather band. And for the Gear S3 Classic, it was a very frustrating experience trying to put on and take off the watch. So I ultimately switched out the leather bands for a spare metal link bracelet I had. But let's return to the positive side. At least you're able to place and receive calls through the watch, just like you could on the Gear S2, but calls sound much better on this watch than on the previous generation Gear watches. Water resistance is on board, and so is perhaps one of the most beautiful AMOLED displays you'll see on any watch on the market today. Now this watch does have Samsung Pay pre-installed, so you'd have to press the top button to activate the app and start using it. Unfortunately, Samsung Pay app for the watch and Samsung Pay app for Galaxy smartphones that are compatible remains fragmented. See, the watch app does not support membership cards or gift cards. It only supports credit and debit cards. Even then, the list of supported credit and debit cards is different from the approved list for the smartphone app. To make matters even more confusing and frustrating, you have to input your cards into both apps for the watch and the Galaxy devices you're using, even though you're signed into your Samsung account. I don't know why it just can't pull the information in like, say, Android Pay does when you go from one device to another. So unfortunately, you gotta do double the work, and that's what makes it very frustrating. But now let's return to something positive. Battery life. The battery life has greatly improved from the Gear S2 lineup. I was getting 1.5 days between charges on the Gear S2 Sport, and so far on the Gear S3 Classic, I'm getting 2.5 days between charges. Now bear in mind, the Classic is only available in Bluetooth pairing configuration. 4G LTE is only available on the Frontier model. It's awesome to access much of my Samsung information as I can through my BlackBerry Priv, such as S Health, because I do use S Health. Now, with no new competitor or updated Android Wear watch launching before Christmas, the only premium wearable to consider is the Gear S3 Classic. Whether it's the fancy Classic or the rugged LTE-enabled Frontier, you're getting the same Tizen OS experience on any of those watches, even the previous generation watches. Now, whether it's worth the price is subjective. For some, the wearable space is still unproven. For others like me, I've come to depend on wearables for convenience and necessity as a second screen to my smartphone. With Pebble's future in doubt and perhaps a grim outlook for that, and Android Wear OS lagging behind in updates and functionality with the continued delays in the OS updates for Android 2.0, I've placed all of my bets on Samsung's Tizen-powered smartwatch to power me into the new year. We'll see if it pays off in time. Thank you so much for watching this video. So like, share, and subscribe to stay in the know. I'll see you in the next video. This is Andres for the Newsreel, signing out.